I didn't know Matt was going to lead that song, but we're gathered together here to worship God. Part of worship is paying attention to what God said, seeing what that is, and then following what he said. When I first came to Church of Christ, I did not grow up in the church. There are several things that surprised me about the worship services. They were different from all the other religious groups I'd attended. One of those was the Lord's Supper, and I'd I'd heard of the Lord's Supper being done sometimes, and it was done in various groups, maybe once a quarter or once a year, and done in various ways. It was strange to see it done every week. And before the Lord's Supper, typically some sharp young men get up here and give some really good thoughts. I don't have any original thoughts for you on this today. You might say this is pretty basic, but I'd like to try and explain a little bit why we're doing what we're doing here, what we're doing. Read three passages. One is Acts 2, verse 41 and 42. So those who received his word were baptized, and there were added that day about 3,000 souls. And they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and the fellowship and the breaking of bread and prayers. When people became Christians, they gathered together, and one of the things they did was they broke bread. Acts 20, verse 7, on the first day of the week, when we are gathered together to break bread, Paul talked with them. When did they do it? On the first day of the week, which is first day of the week, that's today. When, and the other groups I talked or attended, they would, if they had took the Lord's Supper, they would do it the first day of the week too, whether quarterly or annually. If I go to work in a new job and the job says we pay on Friday, Friday comes and I'm expecting a paycheck, it doesn't come, maybe I just didn't get enrolled on the books fast enough. Next Friday, that'll be coming out. And next Friday, it doesn't come. No pay. And I asked why. I said, you paid on Friday. And they said, oh, yeah, we do pay on Friday. Once each year, we pay on Friday. And some of you have a smile. When this says on the first day of the week, when we are gathered together to break bread, that does not mean once a year or once a quarter. That means each first day of the week. And what were they doing? 1 Corinthians 11, I'm going to start in verse 23, the last passage here. Where I received from the Lord that which also I delivered to you, that the Lord Jesus, on the night when he was betrayed, took bread, and when he had given thanks, he broke it, and said, this is my body, which is for you. Do this in remembrance of me. In the same way also he took the cup after supper, saying, this cup is the new covenant in my blood. Do this as often as you drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink the cup, you proclaim the Lord's death until he comes. Whoever therefore eats the bread or drinks the cup of the Lord in an unworthy manner will be guilty concerning the body and the blood of the Lord. Let each person examine himself then, and so eat of the bread and drink of the cup. For anyone who eats and drinks without discerning the body eats and drinks judgment on himself. Let us worship. And as we're passing these around, you might turn to 178, which is a song we just read, or just not just read, we just sang. It talks about coming together for worship, talks about honoring God by listening to what he says, talks about a number of the things we're doing right now. The song just happened to match what I was talking about. So we'll partake of the Lord's Supper now. Let us worship.